What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. And this is going to be, I suppose, our first install of 2025. So we're going to go back and we're going to revisit the Driveshaft carrier bushings. So we're going to go ahead and get that installed on here. So now look here now. It's going to be a degree of difficulty to get the stock bushings. I think that's probably going to be the hardest part of this whole thing. But I got some ideas I want to try out to see if I can get this thing on here or not. So let me show you guys. This is basically what we got here. So this is it. It's like a right and the left side. It doesn't really matter which side it is. It just matters which side goes where on the actual carrier itself. So this is the part that's going to go at the top. And that one is labeled, if you can see that on there. Let me see if you guys can see that or not. Come on, focus. Focus. Hey. It says 210-1. And then this says 210-2. So this is what's going to go on the bottom. And this is what's going to go on the top and be up against the car. This is going to be up against the car. And this is going to be underneath. But this all makes sense whenever we get underneath the car. So, hey man, let's get this thing started, dude. All right, fam, so let's talk a little bit about this, about the bushings in general. So the stock bushings are really meant to keep the car quiet and to reduce a lot of vibration and to make the ride a bit more comfortable. But you know us, you know, we like the raw driving feel because we want to feel everything that's going on with the car, so we know how to react inside of the car. So, of course, that's not gonna make it for us. So, we're gonna do the Perrin bushings because they're more of a solid bushing. They have no give. It's gonna keep everything solid and still. That way, then all of that power transfer, at least a little bit that's left that's not going through, is gonna be taken away and be going straight through the drivetrain. The fact that they're solid, you know, it's going to make sure they have no play whatsoever, so that that front to back motion is not going to be there anymore. So then we'll have that. So the goal of doing all of this is going to be to see if this is going to, if it's something. I know what they say it's not that much of a noticeable difference, especially seeing that we got the lockdown on there. But every little bit helps. If I feel anything, if it's mild or if it's just minor, I see if I can feel a difference. If I can't, we have it, and at least we know it ain't gonna take. It's taking that play out of there, and we'll see if it's a better feel as far as for how the car performs. You know, I got the car in the air already, and I took the heat shield and everything off, and just so you guys know, pretty much in that corner of the screen, that's the video of when we actually did the install of the actual drive shaft lockdown. So if you want to know how to take all of that stuff off, you can. That's pretty much where we go. That's where we're going at with that. So let's go ahead, let's get underneath the car and let's get this thing started. All right, y'all. So here we are under the car. Man, I need a lift, dude. This is just a tight squeeze to be up underneath here with a camera. But this was much easier with GoPros, I will say that. So I don't know. I'm just trying something new now, but this is how it sits with the stock carrier bushings in here right now. So now the deal with the Perrin bushings is it's supposed to stop this basically the rocking back and forth movement. It's not really too much side to side, but it's the forward and back motion of this. It stops it from twisting. So as you can see here, these bushings also allow you the opportunity to align your drive shaft. So if you look at this, there's a bigger gap on this side than with the exhaust is in the way, but than it is on this side. So what these should allow you to do, because they're kind of on an eccentric, you should be able to move this over this way a little bit to make it a little bit more in line with the transmission and the diff. So we're going to try that out, but right now let's go ahead and let's take one side off. What I'm going to do first is I got something I want to try out to see if it's going to work, and I'm going to have a limited ability to allow y'all to see. So when I do this side over here, I'm going to turn the camera on so y'all can see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm going to test out what I want to try on that side. So give me a few, and I'm gonna turn you guys back on, and then I'll let you guys check out exactly what I got going on, or what actually works best. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, so I can try and give you guys the best options for taking this thing off here. Because when I tried last time, I was like, God, dog, man, I'm about to be here for a minute. So let me do that, and then I'll turn you guys back on here in a few. All right, fam. Man, when I tell you, that is hard, dude. Oh my God. At some point, I was just like, man, I'm already locked in. So when I show y'all this, it's gonna be a trip, but it could be done. Because at one point, I got to a point of no return. So right here, here's the stock setup. This is at the top. This is at the bottom. So what I wound up having to do is I put a vice grip at the top to hold this in place, and I twisted it a little bit, kind of rocked it like up and down like that onto this top piece right here. So now from there, I had a screwdriver, a big screwdriver right here, and I had a smaller screwdriver on the side. I'll show you guys this when I get down at the bottom. And then you pry this thing apart, and then you can kind of see the rubber getting torn away. So it really is like you're breaking it, because it's pretty much sealed around this little edge right here. It's sealed here along this, and you'll see when you take it off there, it's like peeling apart rubber, and you'll see it when you're breaking it apart. And at that point, I was like, man, I'm at the point of no return now, so I might as well go and just rip it all the way off here. Now, do I think this can be reused and put back on if you wanted to? I do. So you can kind of put this on at the top, and you can still put this on at the bottom, and whenever you bolt it down, and when you torque it down, you have to torque it to 38 foot-pounds. That clamping pressure should keep this together, and it'll be fine. If you wanted to go, excuse me, if you want to go back to stock with this. Now the way this whole thing is set up is it aligns the drive shaft to stock. It's only going to fit in there only one way, and that's it, and it'll be lined out. Now on this, I'm trying to debate if I'm still going to be needing the washer at the top from when I did the drive shaft lockdown. When you do that, they tell you to put a washer at the top, but the instructions to this doesn't tell you that you still have to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there without it, and I'm going to see how close it is to the bottom of the car, the actual drive shaft, to see if I still need it or not. If I do, I can put it back on there. And looking at this, I'm noticing the difference between when they saying you have to put this in there a certain way and you have to align the drive shaft. I'm trying to align the one that I put in, but it's not working out. But I'm thinking it's because I don't have the other side in. So I'm gonna put the other side in. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing and what that whole process. It might take a minute, but I'm gonna show y'all that, and then we'll try and align it after that. Cause like I say, this thing it has to be aligned this way. You know what I'm saying? It has to be aligned like that. And then when you turn this, you have to turn both of these at the same time. Now it gives you a predetermined way to set the this little eccentric here. But we'll get into that whenever we get to that point. For right now, let me show you guys how to get these bushing out of there. It's not an easy task by no means. Trust me, dude. Ooh man. But let's get underneath the car. All right, fam. So here we go. This is turning out to be quite the little nightmare, man. But let me get this off here. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So it's good to do these one side at a time. You can't do both. Got to do them one at a time. So popping that off of here and taking the washer out of there. And I'm really thinking I'm probably going to have to use that washer. So if I go in here without it, yeah, definitely going to have to use the washer. So for right now, let me show you what I did here. So I got my vice grip here, and I'm going to put that up here just so I can grab a hold of the top part of that bushing. I'm probably going to have to take some slack out of this other side here. So let me do that. Dropped everything. So that gives me a little bit more slack.
to where I can bite down on this bushing here, which I still have not done yet. So let's go this way with it. Maybe I'm going the wrong way here. There we go. All right, so I got my vice grip on there. All right, so I got a smaller tip screwdriver, and then I got this big one. So now I use this big one there inside right here. Let me see if I can show y'all this too, man. Woo, I need some light. So right here, right there in this little front part right here, y'all can see that. There is a little indentation there for you to pretty much stick your, you can stick a screwdriver in there to kind of get you started to pry in between this rubber part of the bushing and the metal part. So you got to get in between the metal and the rubber, and then you want to try and just twist. So the key is to get in here. Hopefully I'm holding this camera right. It's kind of hard to see. All right, so there, to get myself in between there just like that. I need some more light. Hopefully this right here would do it. So you're getting in between there and there, just like that. And then you start twisting this thing out like that. Now, another thing that I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab my bigger sized screwdriver and put it on this side or in that side, and I'm just gonna try and pull and twist and pry it down. So let me put the camera down because I cannot do this with one hand. I'm gonna need two hands. So let me get this thing set up here. So the goal is to get between here and here. I get my bigger screwdriver right there because I already got that started. And then try and get in on this side to get underneath this one as well. Whew, this is murder on the arms. And what's gonna have to happen here is I'm gonna have to continuously do this until I work that thing out of there. So let me see if I can get this bigger screwdriver on this end. Well, let me work this a little bit. So I'm gonna twist this, twist the vice grip at the top while I'm prying on this to try and get a good tear going. Get this thing off of here. Let me get this here. All right. Yeah. And it's starting to come now, so let me grab another screwdriver here and pry there and here. Dang it. Getting there. It's getting there. Wait a minute. I got to readjust my vice grip. All right. Got to reposition this bad boy. Alrighty. So there's there. This is gonna be kind of boring here, but I want y'all to see exactly what I'm going through here, so you guys can judge whether or not y'all want to do this or not. Because when I tell you, man, I was almost about to just not do this, but gotta get it. And there it is. It just, it popped right on off of there. So there's that. And here's this one. So they're both off of there, dude. All right, the goal, I had to try and make myself a little room here, so I had to get underneath. Had to slide my creeper out. So we're gonna put this in here like that. That's the top piece. That fits in there like that. And at that point, I wanna align that hole with the screw hole. Then we want to put our washer in there like that. And then we can run our bolt right through that hole with that washer in there. And we want to try and make sure we line that hole up as best we can. I know my hands are shaking like a mug, dude, because dang, this is a lot of work here. And put that in, and at that point we can work on trying to align this thing. So that's the next step here. So let me get this camera set up so I can figure this thing out, because right now, as you can see, that's there and that's there, so it's like severely cocked right now. So I have to adjust this side, and I also have to put the washer on this side too. All right, y'all. So let me let y'all look at this. So I got both of these loose right now. So now I got them loose to the point to where I can turn the top bushing. And like right now, I got it too far that way now. So let me show y'all if you can see what it's doing when it's moving. So I can move this top part right here, this top eccentric. And let me see, maybe if I can move it, keep going this way. Maybe no, let's go the other way. I don't know if you guys can see the movement of this thing. Oh, that's going the wrong way. Okay, so now you see I'm turning, I'm going this way with it, and it's making the whole thing move that way. So if I turn this one this way, I have to turn this one this way. No. I gotta go that way with it. And now this is all moved to where it looks to be fairly evenly aligned. So now all I gotta do is make sure that this is in line with this. And then let me tighten this up and let's see what happens here. See if I can get you guys in here to see that. As hopefully you guys can see here, this spacing right here is now, it's closer to this side a little bit, but it's way off of this side even more. It's kind of hard to show you guys this. So hopefully y'all can see what I mean. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm, God dog it, man. Let me get some more light. All right. So now I'm hoping y'all can see this, dude. I'm trying to do the best I can with the light. There you go. So you can see it's even on both sides now to a degree. I might want to adjust it a little bit more. Now, the true adjustment of this is going to be driving on it to see if it makes any noise, which I doubt it will, because it has absolutely no movement. I want to move it a little bit away from here because it's a little close over here. So I'm going to move it more that way, and then I'm gonna see what we're looking like, because this top corner right up there. Let me get my screwdriver if I can find it. You see this part right up here? That right there has too much. It's too close. So let me adjust that. All right, so peep this out, y'all. I just noticed something else. If I can find my screwdriver I just had. So I said that was too close. You loosen this up just a little bit, and you can pretty much get a large screwdriver and you can just move it how you want it. You want it a little bit that way you want to put it in even, just use a screwdriver and then you're good. But you got to have it just bare, like take maybe a few, back it off a few threads, like a couple, 3 turns, just to keep it tight to where all you have to do is just move this and it'll move it where you want to. And then at that point, if you don't want it to move, you put your screwdriver in there to make sure that it does not move. Tighten that. And then tighten the other side. And you should be good to go. It is right where I want it. it's evenly spaced on both sides. See, that side over there sticks. So this corner right here at the top right there, it sticks up a little bit more, so it's a little closer to that. That's the reason why I wanted to move it over. But as you can see right there, it's fairly evenly. And look, the shaft right here, you'll see it is straight instead of being off to an angle that way. So it's usually pushed that way. So now I have it aligned up. So I thought it was gonna be a little harder to align this, but it's not. So now all I gotta do is torque these bolts down to 38 foot-pounds. All right. Excuse me. Got my torque wrench, it's already set to 38 foot-pounds. So now, like I say, when you are torquing, make sure you have your hand at the very end of it, and you're just using this hand to pretty much guide it and keep it up. And you want to put all that pressure at the tip, that way then you get the absolute correct torque spec. All right. And then this side right here. All right, that's 38 foot-pounds. We are good to go. That install is done. So now all we got to do is put the heat shield back on here, which is pretty easy to do. Gonna go in at an angle here, right there. Hold it up for me. These, I'm sure they do have a torque spec, but this is just the heat shield. So as tight as you can get, it should be fine. All right. And that's a wrap, fool. So let's go to the bench and then we'll finish up the video. All right, fam, so install is done. So now comes the whole testing phase. So like I say, just to minimize how long the videos is, because I try and keep it to the main meat and potatoes part of what we're doing, which is we're installing it and kind of showing you guys. And it was a bit easier that way. I did try and use this. I tried and use some penetrating oil to see if that would help. And what I did is, you know, I split the two. Hold on, let me get this here. God dog, where's, okay, there we go. I got the screwdriver in between this right here. And I split it and I sprayed that penetrating oil through there just to see if it'll help. No, it didn't really do anything because it couldn't get in there. Because it's the rubber, it's not gonna let it get in there. It's not like metal to metal, it's rubber to metal. So it's the tightest, it's a tighter seal. So that didn't help at all. But putting a little vice grip at the top, which this is pretty much what I use to tighten down on there. And then going in there with a small screwdriver to open it up a little bit just so I can get the big screwdriver in there. I did try and use some of these little pry tools because they did suggest these things right here. But it didn't really help that much. And it's a real tight area to get in. And it could be just because I'm on the ground. So, you know, if it was on the lift, maybe I have a little bit more leverage and a little, you know, to work with. But I didn't. So these didn't work out too well for me. I probably should have used this, but I didn't. But putting this on there and having that smaller screwdriver and that real fat-ended, flat-tip screwdriver, that helped out a lot and helped me pry it. And I got it from two angles, and it's just, you just got to twist the big screwdriver and push up to pry, and over time it'll keep going. And what it's doing is just tearing the rubber around. It's tearing the rubber around this little seal right here. So once it does that, and then if you look in there, you'll see it starting to come apart, and then all of a sudden it'll just pow. Y'all like my sound effects, dog? That's tight, I know. But you know, it spreads it out of there, pops out of there, and then Bob's your uncle. Bam, it's off of there. And then at that point, you get it in there, and then the little alignment tips. I was thinking I was just gonna be harder than what it was. You do have to use those washers that came with the lockdown. Well. You may not have to, but it makes the alignment process that much easier. And I think it gives you a little bit more play as it from the top of the tunnel to the drive shaft. So it kind of puts the drive shaft a little bit lower so it's not gonna touch. But it makes it easier to align it. And I was thinking you have to turn a little screw, because that's what I was doing at first, turning the top part to try and get it to move the way I needed it to move.
because it's on there eccentric. I did that, and then come to find out, you put a that fat screwdriver in there, and you kind of twist it. You can kind of pry on it, and you can move it exactly where you want it. Leave the screwdriver in there. You tighten one side down, and then at that point it should be in there. Tighten it up, and then you torque it down to 38 foot-pounds, and then it's good to go. So we'll see how that runs, and if I have run into any issues or hear any extra sounds or any extra vibration, I'll put it into like maybe a review video. And my plan this year is to, depending on what it is, I'm gonna do like start doing like 2 mod reviews and stuff like that, so I can kind of review 2 things at one time, you know, to kind of make it worthwhile to do a video. Some things may take a little bit more information, so it'll be a single review. But for that, maybe I'll do a review over that. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all if y'all made it this far in the video, man. Thank y'all for hanging with your boy. And let's continue to grow, man. I appreciate all the support you guys give me, man. Talking to me, giving me your ideas, bouncing ideas off each other, man. That's such a huge help, man. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad that that the channel is getting to the point where we communicate like that. So again, appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit all so you get notified whenever I put out a video. And until that next video, fam, peace.